Chef Stephanie Tucci, aka Chefanie, has some ideas for you. I love that name. She's here to make us mini gingerbread bundt cakes. And Chefanie, like many of your recipes, this recipe is gluten-free. So how'd you manage to do that?
Okay, so almond flour. This is the star of the recipe today, but also anytime I'm making a tea loaf, a muffin, a scone, I love adding some almond flour because it yields a really tender crumb and it keeps the recipe incredibly moist. So if you're going to bake ahead for the holidays and throw some things in the freezer or get ahead a few days, this is the flour you want to add into your baked goods.
We love that, and we love that you make sort of these really beautiful, indulgent treats, just slightly more healthier. What do we do first?
Okay, so first and foremost, I've preheated the oven to 350 degrees.
Okay.
And I have gone ahead and greased 2 mini silicone bundt pans, and by mini, I mean 5 inches, okay?
Yeah.
So I've gone ahead and I've greased these with olive oil, but you can use butter, coconut oil, whatever you wish, and I've placed them on a baking sheet because, as you can see, they're quite flimsy, so it just makes it easier for transport. So now we're gonna get onto the mixing. So first, we're gonna get our almond flour into a bowl.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're gonna go in with tapioca starch. I'm adding tapioca starch because we don't have any gluten, right? So this is gonna be our binder to kind of hold the cake together. Now for spices. I've got ginger, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg. I like to kick up the spice a little bit anytime I'm making a spice cake or a gingerbread cake.
Yeah.
If it's not to your liking, you can absolutely decrease by a 1/4 teaspoon. That's no problem. Coconut sugar, my go-to sugar.
You love your coconut sugar.
I love it, okay.
I love it too, though. It gives you a good taste. Like, I like the taste of it.
A really nice caramel sort of like flavor, which is going to complement perfectly with all the gingerbread spices. I have a teaspoon of baking soda and some salt, and then we're just gonna whisk this together just quite briefly, and then set this aside. And we're gonna go in with the wet ingredients now, okay? So we're gonna start with 2 eggs. Into the bowl. I'm also adding some apple cider vinegar. The reason we're gonna add some acid is for gluten-free baking. I find the reaction between the baking soda and the acid helps to elevate it a little bit more, gives it a bit more height. Yeah, absolutely. Now molasses, this gives us that classic gingerbread color, that really rich flavor, and it adds a little bit of sweetness. Then we're gonna add a splash of vanilla, and then super important here. First, we're gonna go in with the melted butter.
Okay.
If you didn't want to use butter, you absolutely could use olive oil. That'd be fine too. I just prefer butter in this recipe. Now, my main liquid here, we're doing a 1/4 cup of Fairlife 3.25% whole milk. The reason I'm using this opposed to heavy cream is just to lighten up the recipe a little bit. Doesn't yield such a heavy cake. Also, I love that it's lactose-free and Canadian made, and as a chef, you know, I can get behind that. And it's also 50% more protein, 50% less sugar, and you know, with the whole choose better principle, I love that I'm adding some nutrients into my dessert. Okay.
Good stuff.
So using a hand mixer, we're gonna get this together.
Well, you do that a lot more elegantly than I was going to do it. So I'll just sit back and watch you, Chefanie.
And then to avoid a mess, I'll place that right over. Okay, so we're going to go wet into the dry.
Yeah. So this is going to be a really nice, I mean, this is good if you're entertaining people, but also if you are going to a party and you want to bring a bit of a hostess gift,
absolutely,
this is such a great thing to bring.
Right, and what I love about this is the size, right? So we're going to bring this to somebody's house. Maybe they already have desserts on the table. It's not too much.
Yeah, exactly. They have just enough. Although if you're coming to my house, you can bring me the full cake. I'm okay
and
with
you
that.
can leave your whole cake in the freezer. That's no problem.
That's right.
Okay, so now we're going to bring this over to our silicone.
And pour them in. I got to get these silicone little trays as well.
Okay.
Oh, that looks good.
So we're going to go half in half. Let's try not to make a mess, Chefanie. Okay.
And you're not trying to fill it all the way to the top?
No, because it's going to rise quite a bit.
Okay.
Made a bit of a mess, but that's okay. Your guests don't see that part.
You're doing very well.
Your guests don't see that part.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay.
I'll put this in. You
all
want
right.
to put this in?
Yeah, you can put that in the oven. And we're going to go ahead and mix up our glaze.
Okay.
I already have one cooling, so we're ready to go. For our glaze, we need cream cheese.
Yeah.
At room temperature, we're going to pop this into the stand mixer.
Okay.
I'm going to get this turned on just to whip a little bit of air into it. We're going to add a pinch of salt.
Super important in baking.
Yeah, just literally just to balance flavor.
Okay.
And then at this point, I'm going to add 1.5 cups of icing sugar. And we'll turn that back on. And to help thin this out, we're going to go back and add the Fairlife whole milk. opposed to the cream, again, just yields a lighter texture.
Okay.
I'll start adding some milk. I'm gonna go by eyeball here.
Okay.
But anywhere from 1 to 4 tablespoons or a quarter cup. In the meantime, while that's going, let's pop this out.
Yeah.
This is just how easy silicone makes life.
Oh,
okay,
that's so
beautiful.
good.
All right. So I'll come over here. I'll grab the glaze. We'll just do a quick glaze over.
And I'll just grab this because I'm hungry.
Absolutely. Those are just some delicious graham crackers. We can't go wrong with that. Okay, so over top.
Very nice. So yeah, this is where it becomes that like snow-capped mountain.
And you want to do this over a cooling rack just in case you end up with, you know, having some
that's
drip and you don't want it all over your
good.
counter.
Very nice. Okay,
And
so you showed me a little bit about what we're doing next.
So you can be
I'm
my
going to
sous
put
chef.
these on. Can you
be
tell
my
me
sous
what
chef.
these are again?
Yeah, so we're going to decorate this today with some sugared cranberries. And don't worry, everybody at home is going home with this recipe. It's so easy.
Very good.
You can pop. Look at you with the tweezers, Tracy.
You know, I
Okay.
watched you. I watched you doing your magic, and I'm trying to copy
Well, you
it.
do that. I'm going to
Yeah.
crumble over. You can use graham cracker, or you can go ahead and use crushed gingerbread, whatever
Beautiful.
favorite holiday cookie you like.
And I'd
then
say
just to
we are
give it-
finito. I know that you've got a little bit of sprinkles going on.
We'll just put some over, just like that. How about that?
Very
Is that
nice.
good?
Beautiful. Okay, if you want the recipe, as Chefanie mentioned, we have got that on our website for you, cityline.tv.